Hey there, boss fighters. Braxwolf here, host of Beyond Boss Fights, which is a proud member of the Gaming and Entertainment Network. Beyond Boss Fights is an award-nominated monthly podcast that hosts interviews with interesting people from the gaming world, including developers, bloggers, and even players like you and me. If you'd like to hear more, check us out at tgenetwork.net or over at my blog, Gaming Conversations, at braxwolf.com. See you there.
This is Multiplaying, episode 120, recorded on Thursday, May 7th, 2015.
Everybody online, looking good.
A companion podcast to the collaborative blog and gaming community that's playing as life allows. This is Multiplaying.
Well, let's start the insanity.
We have clearance, Clarence. Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Hello?
Great heavens! What kind of radio show is this?
Well, on this episode of Multiplaying, we have with us Jason.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going okay.
Do you have a cool, refreshing water this evening?
I do have some water. I cannot drink anything for a while. So
why?
He has medical things.
Oh no!
Yeah, you remember? Okay, you remember last week? I was kind of I mentioned maybe once or twice that I had a tummy ache.
That pizza really fucked you up.
I thought he was kidding. We went to the emergency room.
Oh my god! Really?
Yeah, like that next morning.
Was it something that you ordered or something that you baked?
Neither.
Okay.
This
is mystery pizza.
Can I tell him what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, he had diverticulitis, which is like when a whole bunch of bacteria builds up in your colon and it all gets inflamed and junk. And it's not good.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it's very painful apparently. And
Is that the one where you have small pockets forming in your colon and then they kind of get...
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
They get like seeds might catch in them or something like that.
Yeah.
It's gross. So gross. It's the poop episode, ladies and gentlemen.
It's what Brock Lesnar had. I'm just like him.
Yeah. Checks out.
That's true. He kept saying that at the emergency room. I'm like, will you stop talking about Brock Lesnar?
I was putting in context that I would understand.
Well, are you joining him in solidarity, Shannon, with the water?
I am, but just because, it's Thursday.
She got drunk a bunch since then. She didn't care.
Yeah. Right.
No, he gave me antibiotics, and he was like, I'm going to tell you, this one, if you drink, it's basically like antabuse. And he's like, I know from experience, because he had diverticulitis before. So I think I'll be taking my last one right around Comic-Con, so it'll be interesting.
That's convenient.
I'm pain meds, though, so that's something.
Yeah.
Got to tweak on something, right?
Whatever gets you hard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I unfortunately drank the last of my Di Serono, so I have nothing but water tonight as well. You're in for a bumpy ride, ladies and gentlemen.
Fucking lame asses we are.
But maybe we'll be saved by our fourth and first time multiplaying guest. Should we call you Hardwayes or should we call you Glenn?
I'll take Glenn.
We'll just take Glenn. Glenn, known on the internet as Hardwayes. How's it going?
It's going very well, thanks.
What you got drinking?
Nothing today.
God damn it.
Bringing up the rear with nothing. Sorry, guys.
Par for the course.
I was really counting on you.
No, sorry.
Well, Glenn,
shut it down.
Yeah. Yeah. So here you go. Bunch of sober asses on the show. That's what we're doing.
You've been around the multiplaying community for a while now. Like, how long ago have you actually been?
Probably longer than you realize. It was I was in the Circle of Trust in Warhammer years ago, but I don't remember the username I was using, so I couldn't even help you out in remembering.
Oh, I could dig that up.
I like the one thing I know that you've been around a while is in the pictures up in the stream. That was your Steam profile pic always just jumped out at me because it was amazing. And I think you went through different names. I'm like, that guy must be cool. Yeah,
that's Jim Kelly from the early 70s. He was big into tennis for a while. If you don't know Jim Kelly, he was from Enter the Dragon. He was Black Belt Jones. He's a action hero from the...
Was he, and never mind, I think I'm wrong. He wasn't in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, was he?
I don't think he was.
Okay.
Everyone else was. He wasn't in it.
Yeah, like that whole group, like Jim Kelly was in it, and or not.
No, that's
I'm
Jim
sorry,
Kelly.
Jim Brown. Jim
I was
Brown.
gonna say that's exactly who wasn't in
no,
it.
Jim Brown was in it.
Yeah, Jim Brown, Isaac Hayes. Who else?
He had
A bunch
that
of
bunion on
classics
his
from the
foot.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have fond memories of watching Enter the Dragon. So when, again, with bringing up Jason's point with you being on Steam with that, I always thought that was pretty rad. So cool. We'll start off with you, though. As far as gaming, what have you been playing lately?
Well, a few weeks ago, I started listening to Ready Player One again. I have the audiobook with Will Wheaton's narration. And
I just listened to that too.
So good.
It's not bad. He's pretty good at it. A little bit after a while, I find his voice and his mannerisms get a little too Will Wheaton-y, but
You know what kind of bothered me, and I am not a big Will Wheaton fan, but he did a decent job with it. I'll give him credit.
Yeah.
But what towards the end and listening to some other audiobooks, I just kind of recently have gotten into audiobooks, and I read Ready Player One like back when it came out, and I wanted an easy way to kind of go through it again. But it kind of bummed me out that he didn't even really try to do any voices for any of the other characters. It was just him, really.
Yeah, you're right. A couple characters, he deepened up his voice a bit, but that's pretty much it.
But not nothing compared to like some of the professionals who do audiobooks. But,
Yeah.
I read Ready Player One with my eyeballs.
I did too. I read it way back when it came out. I just kind of wanted an easy way to go through it again.
Yeah. I also, just for context, most of you remember when we were playing World of Warcraft again, and Slurms just totally bailed on our group after 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This is the guy that was in the group. This is the guy we ditched.
Yeah, the other guy.
Yeah. So.
But we cut you off. You were talking about re-listening to Ready Player One.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We hijacked.
It's all right. So that got me thinking about some of the old games I used to play back when I was a kid, because I figure I'm probably around the same age as the author, and a lot of the things he talked about in that book were a lot of things that I would play. So I went back and dug up some of my old games, well, whatever I could find an emulator for. And one of the ones I remember, I think it was pretty formative for me back when I was pretty young. This was, I think, 82 or 83, so I was around 8 at the time, 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
I had a TI-99-4, and there was a game that came on cassette tape it's called Tunnels of Doom, and it was, I think, at the time, I really didn't know didn't have much understanding of what the impact would be, but I think a lot of people now look back on it as kind of a forerunner for RPGs. It's kind of like a transition between the kind of like the roguelike adventure, text adventure types, and the graphical adventures. So got back into playing that. I gave it a spin, loaded it up, gave it a spin, and it was a lot worse than I remember it. And
which most of that stuff is, when you go back.
Yeah, it looked terrible. It had really esoteric controls. There was a lot of having to hit Control 5, Control 6, J to do something that should be assigned over on the A. It wasn't WASD. It had a completely different control system, and it was kind of counterintuitive. But it had a lot of really interesting things that I was surprised that a game like 1982 would have. Like if you went up to, maybe to explain it a bit, it's like a dungeon crawl where you go into a dungeon and as you're traversing the dungeon, it would be like a 3D, like a faux 3D, where you would see kind of like a line image of a corridor that you're walking down. And then as you're going down, the little doors would appear, and you could turn and face a door. And then if you wanted to, you could hit a command that let you listen to the door, and you could listen to see if there are any enemies in the
that's a cool
the
idea.
room next to it. And you could bust down the door and surprise the enemies inside. And there was a rudimentary lock-picking system. There was you could haggle with enemies if they were beating you up too much. You could pay them to let you go. But
you know, like real life.
Yeah. But apart from that, it was nostalgia gave it probably longer legs that day than it should have.
Yeah.
I found it hard to go back and play the games purely on nostalgia based.
I did the exact same thing when I re-listened to it, because that author does an amazing job of just making you get the feels like for those games. And the only the one I went and played and actually was impressed at how well it held up is I went and just last week played the original Zork some. But I think the text-based stuff maybe has an easier way of holding up. But yeah.
Yeah, I went back and tried Zork again myself, and I didn't remember a thing about it, and I didn't get very far. I tried out some of the other ones. There's Lurking Horror was another one in the series. It had kind of supernatural Cthulhu-esque kind of feel to it, but again, it's my attention wasn't held very long.
Yeah,
it's funny. We speaking of old games, I was never back into the PC games back then, but like as far as kind of along the same lines with console games, like digging those up, and because you mentioned getting like stuff emulated. When we went out, me and a buddy went and saw the new Avengers, and while we had some time to waste, we went around the corner and there's this place that we had never been in before, but they like buy and sell like used games and movies and such. Kind of felt like a pawn shop. But when we were in there, I was actually kind of surprised at the just vast amount of old games that they had. And we're walking through, and I was actually like kind of getting like, holy crap, they got like Nintendos and Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, Dreamcast, Saturn, just you name it. And they had Master System stuff, just everything. And I'm like going around like, holy crap. I might actually come back and buy some of these like old NES games. And my buddy's like, well, just freaking emulate them. Why would you spend all the money on this stuff? I was like, no, I like the physical thing, man. It's like, I still liked having that janky ass Square controller. And he's like, well, they got a USB version you can get. I was like, I know, but
I've been thinking the same thing recently, because I want to buy like a Super Nintendo and maybe something else. And I thought, well, I could just emulate it, but that's not really the point.
Not the old one. Like, we went up north last summer with, just the three of us, and we dug out of the closet this old Atari system, and our kid loved it, like, because he was blown away by like all these. We had tons and tons of games up there, and it was a rainy day, so it was kind of, we were stuck up north, nothing to do, and so we got it all out. We had a whole great gaming day, but it was great for us because it was nostalgic. It was great for him because it was all new to him, but it was nice playing with the old. Well, no, but it was great because it was like all the old controllers and everything. Like it wouldn't be the same if you were just
putting it on a PC.
Yeah.
Right.
I think some of the part of the nature of the gaming has changed a lot, certainly in the past 30 years. But those games were meant to be played for 15 minutes, half an hour, maybe an hour at tops. Yeah. We're so used to 20-hour epics. And
I could play Pac-Man for a few hours.
Yeah.
Frogger.
Well, a lot of stuff too. When you would get a console, a game as a kid on a console, it may not have had the same length, but you didn't have anything else to play. So I played Double Dribble for hundreds of hours because that was the only new game I had for until the next holiday or something like that.
Yeah,
true that.
True.
God damn you, Bayou Billy. Yeah, but have you been playing anything else other than your retro RPGs?
Yeah, well, it was another retro RPG. Sorry, yeah, another retro RPG. It was partially kind of came from the modding controversy that came up a little while back.
Oh yeah.
What's the modding controversy?
Not.
I don't know if we covered it at all.
I don't think we did because I don't remember it.
It's the whole shebang with Skyrim and Valve like putting in like a paid mod system so that like, okay, do you realize that like there's the workshop thing in Steam, Shannon?
No.
Okay, like in Skyrim specifically, is what they targeted as their initial go-to. That, okay, it has a huge modding community. Like if you go boot up Skyrim now via Steam, you can go to the workshop and download an unfathomable amount of mods that do various things, from making dragons look like Macho Man Randy Savage to Thomas the Train. You can make just effects in the world. You can just make the game look amazing, like more realistic water effects, trees, etc., etc. And all this has been free to this point. But what they wanted to do was get away in the system in place in order to get the mod creators paid for what they were doing. That didn't last very long, partly because people didn't like the idea of suddenly having to pay for this stuff, which they didn't have to. The mod creators had the choice whether to post the mods with or without an actual amount required to use it. But the big shit show of it was...
Yeah, like just the gist.
The big shit show of it that was that of the 100% that you would pay for the mod, only 25% of it was actually going to the mod creator. 25% on top of that was going to Valve, which is kind of a standard fee for them hosting games on their service. And then the other half of it was going back to Bethesda, the creator of Skyrim. So,
wow.
Yeah. There was a lot of other shit going along with that, but it got pulled. And I think that's the gist of it. So back to Glenn.
People did not like that deal.
They don't like having to pay for something they'd never paid for before.
That's true.
And it's definitely something that's going to come back into play, but they need to kind of reevaluate. It purely was not handled very well.
Okay. So that's that. All right.
So through all of that, I found that there had been an extensive modding community going for years for Morrowind, and they had completely re-skinned a good chunk of the game. And so I loaded that one up. I think it is like a modding collective had put together a package which you could just install fairly easily. And it allowed me to get back into that one because I played that one originally on Xbox, and it did not look very good, but I played the hell out of it when I had the Xbox going. And Morrowind was a game that I had, I think months ago, I had mentioned to Shannon that I was considering maybe writing some articles for Bindpoint. Morrowind was one of them. There are a few games that are kind of in my wheelhouse, kind of professionally, because I'm an architect by trade, and Morrowind really, I think it exemplifies a certain type of design which I'm really interested in, or which really connected to me. So there are a few things that I want to say about that in an article form, which I haven't really had the time to get to.
I don't think anyone's had time to get to Bindpoint in quite a while. Sadly.
Is it still going?
Well, it's there.
It's there. Yeah.
Okay.
There.
I mean, I'll leave it up, and people can use it if they want to. I've got like a bunch of authors on it, but I am not a blogger. I set it up for other people who then never used it. I'm not going to say who.
Is she looking towards Indiana, Jason?
Yeah, looking southwest.
Yeah, I to be honest, I really haven't had a chance to check the site. So I haven't had a chance to check the site, so I haven't had a chance to write either. So someday,
sounds like a
I'd
nice
to
idea
get
for
this.
an article, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one I'd be interested in, just in outside of that, just your thoughts too on how the mod is, because Morrowind is a game I didn't play a ton of when it came out, but I'd be interested in going back if it helps it kind of feel more modern and it's a little bit easier to look at.
It kind of does and it doesn't. Certain things haven't changed. The bodies are still very mechanical looking. The mechanics of the game itself haven't changed a bit. So if you can't get past the swing your sword at something and
I can deal with that.
Yeah, it's the invisible dice rolling which you don't connect even though you're whiffing away or with whatever you're swinging at and it's hitting you over and over again. It's
So do you have a hard time looking at any game without thinking of the architecture in it?
Not really. No,
Okay.
most of the time it kind of disappears. There are a few that stand out as good. There are a few that stand out as bad. The one that comes to mind as being good, and I can't really put my finger on it why, is because I really haven't gone back to give it a good analysis, is Left 4 Dead, the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the fact that I would always get to the end of the map without any problems. But some intuition would get you from point A to point B where you need to go. And I'm not sure if it's through they do a very excellent job at wayfinding or making points of interest to head towards, or if it's just are you being funneled by scripted events. I'm
The
not
way
sure.
that they're drawing you towards the end.
So it's really not. I mean, those are some techniques that are done in architectural design through kind of like a choreographing of space or kind of leading people along into certain directions.
Yeah. 'Cause I know I can't look at games without thinking about how the sex that I can have with the characters.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Hazard of the job.
Yeah. Do you work with any architects named Mark Vandelay?
Do not.
Oh, okay. That's
That was a crucial question.
That's
Yeah.
I knew.
I'm glad you got that in there.
I had to. That's
Yeah.
what George on Seinfeld.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
It's one of the few Seinfeld episodes I've seen. Yeah.
You know, I always wanted to be a fake architect. I'd stop the show dead. That's my thing.
I can pick it up with some 3DS, right?
What?
Fantasy Life on 3DS, I hear, is your thing.
Way better than Xenoblade Chronicles. Yes, you are correct.
You are enjoying this.
It's fine. I like Fantasy Life, but I mean, there's no need for low blows.
No, I prefer it. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I put about 10 hours into it since last weekend.
So I think you've put more hours into it than I have. You liking it?
I really, really like it a lot. It's because I mostly play my 3DS on like breaks at work.
Yeah.
Like during my lunch break, and then occasionally I'll play a little bit before I go to bed.
Or just during work.
Or just people are talking to me and shut up.
Did you talk about Fantasy Life last week?
No.
Could you?
I think I brought it up that I was interested in checking it out.
Okay. What's the gist of that
It
one?
is. Have you played Final Fantasy 14?
Nope. I can't say
Okay.
that.
Basically, it's like a top-down game that you have a choice of, I think, 12 different jobs or lives that they call them that you can lead. And each one is like there's a carpenter, a cook, a
I heard
hunter.
there's a woodcutter.
There is a woodcutter. There's a miner. A lot of them are very. They kind of feed into others. So, like if you're a miner,
Mercenary.
yeah, there's a mercenary.
She's just watching the trailer and naming.
I am.
God damn it! So if you are a woodcutter, it feeds right into carpentry. So it's not like you're going to only do one job. You'll probably at least do 3, and just kind of swap in between all of them. The game is actually, you are in a town. You start off with your initial life, and then you go see your master, and it kind of puts you through a quest of like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Each job has a quest, but after you get through the one for your initial life, you can choose to skip the other ones, and they'll just give you all the stuff that they would have through the quest, and then you go about your business. But like if you're a hunter in the game, that's like hunter, paladin, mercenary, and wizard are the fighting lives that you can lead. And there are like open areas that have animals in them, and like enemy mobs that you go out and you can actually fight against. There's like, I don't want to call them dungeons. I haven't come across an actual dungeon yet, but there's like caves and stuff you can go through.
Okay. For a second there, it sounded like you were describing a game where you played the people in the village that you usually just run through.
No, it's one person.
So you're just a character in an RPG.
You are a character, and you switch between different jobs, basically.
To me, it kind of feels like Animal Crossing with more RPG stuff.
way more RPG. And what was surprising about the game to me is that I figured that that's all it was going to be, and that's why I guess I kind of wanted to explain it a little bit more. That when I saw it, I'm like, okay, it looks like Animal Crossing, but you actually go out and you fight some stuff, and there's more different things that you can do, and that appealed to me because I liked Animal Crossing, but I didn't feel like there was enough there.
Yeah.
But I think this is actually more than that, because what surprised me about it was that there's a story going on through the game too.
Yeah.
That, like, as you go through and as you complete certain quests, there's a lot of quests that you can pick up from the villagers that, hey, will you go get me some of this stuff? It's typical like MMO style questing. There is multiplayer in it. I haven't done that yet, but the thing is there is actually a story to be told there. So whenever you want to actually go to the next part of the story, there are these what they call butterfly quests, because you have this butterfly that follows you around. You don't actually see it for most of the game, but when story stuff comes up, he actually pops out and starts conversing with people and shit. But you actually do see like story elements that lead you through, and that as you complete those, you open up bigger areas of the game. Like right now, if you open up the entire world map, I'm 10 hours in, and I've only probably explored a fifth of the map, maybe.
Yeah, I've heard there's tons to do.
There is, yeah, and that's what's actually gotten me really, like, as I started opening up those other areas, because at first I was like, well, there's just this big plains, and I didn't even look at the map yet, and I was like, it's okay, this is fine. But then once I saw that, okay, the map's bigger, and I started expanding into those other areas, I got really impressed by how huge the game really is. And
yeah, they're making a sequel too.
The sequel is, I guess, basically just the first game, but it's going to be on iPad.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah,
well, that's way better.
No, it's not. I guess.
Yeah, I don't want a 3DS.
That's what Shannon's always talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. There was something really janky about it. They were talking about it on the 8-4 Play podcast that they were calling it Fantasy Life 2, even though it's basically just the first game, and they might be adding like paywall shit into it or something. I can't remember what it was.
Is there multiplayer in it? I don't remember.
There is. Yeah. I think there's up to 4 players.
Is it local or?
No, I don't think. I think you can invite friends.
We should try to do that.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it more. We should be friends.
Storms has to friend me on Wii U. He won't accept it.
It's
really awkward to talk. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
No, I really, really, really dig it. I can see punching in a whole bunch more hours.
It's good. Yeah, I played some today just because I hadn't played in a while, and I knew you had picked it up. And yeah, it's good. The beginning was really slow for me, and I think I'm finally to the point where it's starting to really. It's open up to where I can pretty much do whatever I want now. And
I think what made it slow for me, and it was just because when I first started playing it, you have all these different lives that you can lead. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch in between all these and just basically feed myself everything that I would need. I started off as a mercenary, but then I eventually switched over to hunter instead because I liked the way that played more. But I was like, okay, I'll do carpentry and I'll do the blacksmithing and all this other stuff and make my own armor, make my own weapons, all that, everything.
Yeah.
But that becomes so time consuming to do that it's not bad to do that because you can spend all those hours into the game. But I was missing that whole point of, hey, this shit opens up quite a bit more once you get into the story stuff. And then once I understood that, I was like, okay, I'm going to back it down to only doing like 4 lives rather than the 6 or 7 that I was trying to lead.
I just
once I did that, it was it was way more manageable, and I was getting through content at a more reasonable pace. That it's become this like cyclical thing for me now. So I like it. Check it out if you like.
Yeah,
if you like Animal Crossing and you want more, that's a pretty good way to put it.
I'll play more. I'd be interested in checking out the multiplayer to see how that works in that game.
Yeah.
See what I don't like. If they're going to put it on the iPad, just charge me what you want to charge me. If it's a $50 game, charge me for a $50 game, and don't put all this crap behind paywalls. Put a real game on the iPad and charge me for it.
I'm not positive that's what that gripe stands true for a lot of games on the iPad with me, but I don't know if that's what it was. If that was the issue with Fantasy Life 2 on there or not. But
I'm sorry, it's only $40, but anyway, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that I totally agree with that.
It's going to be tricky to control on an iPad as well, or if you don't have the controller. I don't like virtual sticks.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. How about we move on to some MMO talk?
I like MMOs. Do you guys like MMOs?
I do. I just recently installed one on my computer.
What did you install?
I installed SWTOR.
Sweater.
But wait a minute, you were playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I know.
14. And I told you, remember when you started playing it, that you hated Final Fantasy.
I don't hate it.
But you don't play it. You don't like it enough to play it.
No, but I think I have the same feelings towards Final Fantasy. I like playing it. There's so much about the game I like, but playing through it again this time, I kind of got correlations between that and Lord of the Rings Online.
Yeah.
That there's so much about the game I absolutely adore, but they both kind of put me to sleep.
I get sleepy when I play.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was liking Final Fantasy on the PS4, because I could just lay on the couch and then take a nap.
He's in a dungeon.
Not a glowing endorsement, but yeah.
He's like in a dungeon tanking. He's like...
No, healing.
Oh, that's great.
God.
Great. And he fell asleep. Guys, he fell asleep.
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, you've gamed with him, Steve. You know how that is.
Yeah, I blew my Insta.
Get up and wander away.
He does get up and wander away a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't even set foot in. Well, I can't say that. I set foot in game for about 5 minutes. Installed some SWTOR last night, and then we'll see how that goes.
Did you make a new character, or are you going to level up an old character? Because right now, for those that don't know, the reason why there's a big SWTOR thing is there's like 12 times experience for your storyline quests. Not for everything, but for the storyline quests. So you can run through and do your story and not have to do any of the side quests if you don't want to. So that's very appealing to people who started a long time ago, like me, and never finished, like me, and want to see the end of my story. So
how long is that going?
I am not sure, but I saw an article that said like it's going throughout summer, which
Jesus.
I think I was on the forums, and I don't know if that was an official thing or not, so who knows. The last time it went for like 2 or 3 months.
I'm going to see some stories. I'm not yawning. But yeah, I went in and my trooper, she's like level 43. And I'm like, why did I bail on her at level 43?
Yeah.
But I did. And, but then playing, I died 5 times in the first thing I went into because there's so many abilities in that game. I have 3 hot bars going, and I'm like, what?
I got 3 full hot bars at 30 something.
And I can't remember what to do when, and it's just it's this whole relearning process, and it's so much to go back into, at that level. So I just
my smuggler was 37, and that's the exact same thing that I ran into today when I logged on to him. I was just I went and fought one dude and about died. It was the same level as me. I was like, I don't remember this being like this.
No, I knew what I was doing last time. Because the last time we played, we leveled up, from the beginning, so you kind of got your abilities as you went. You just got used to them.
Yeah.
And we were playing it a ton when we did play it. So yeah, we had it all down packed. Now I look at it and I'm like, I don't remember any of this. Any of it. I don't even know who that companion is. When did I get him? I don't even remember him.
Did it force you to have to respec or reallocate all your specialization points when you went back in? Because I find that's usually the thing that kills me in an MMO if I have to go back, is that there's been a patch or an update and they've set you back to 0 and you have to figure out how to build your character again.
When I went back in, they had something up there, but it seemed very simplified from what I remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, they changed up the skill proficiency stuff. It made it a lot easier.
Yeah, I was able to just go ahead and glance over and pick what I wanted pretty easy. So, and it was all passive. So
I was exactly what I was before.
Yeah, and what I've kind of done, because I did that with the counselor when I went back, and now with the smuggler, just trying to relearn. I've started to make hot bars that are kind of off to the side there. I'm putting stuff that I hardly ever use, and that's working out a little bit better. But that game is, I mean, the difficulty is no joke in it. It's not super easy. Like I was talking about that boss fight yesterday I did as a smuggler. It took me about 4 deaths before I finally got it, and I barely got it. And I don't think, like, looking up strategies, I was playing wrong. It's just, it's not a super cakewalk in certain spots. So,
Shannon, are you going to go forward with the trooper, or are you going to try something else?
Yeah, I want to see the end of my trooper, and then I had a couple other characters that were, like, in the 30s. I want to see, how their stories went out, too. So that's my plan. Checking stuff out. I did make a brand new Jedi Knight, though, because I had unlocked Chiss on the good side, on the Republic side. Good, I guess, is, from a certain point of view. But I made a Chiss Jedi Knight over on Ebonhawk, because that's apparently the last server, because it seems like everyone is on Ebonhawk. And last time, when I played, I was on Sanctum of the Exalted, so that's how long ago I played, if anyone remembers that. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to. I'm debating like starting a new one and but that won't help me know my abilities for my.
No,
trooper,
you just got to get in there.
Yeah, that's right.
I went to an area that was kind of a manageable level and just fought a bunch of fights until I was able to kind of piece together strategies and what abilities and all that, and it didn't take that long.
Yeah, that's my issue, is that I don't think that there's another class that I want to play other than my smuggler.
Smuggler's super fun.
Yeah, I really like them.
Story.
You have a good story?
No, they have a good story.
Oh, they have a good story. Yeah, it's interesting, and it's a nice change from. I finished off the Consular story when I went back last, and that's very serious and stoic, and the Smuggler one so far is a nice change. It's very goofy. I love the class idea of stealthing healer. Those are like 2 things I love: stealth class and healing classes. So,
surprise!
Aha! Surprise! I'm gonna fix you.
Groovy.
I'm doing that, and also the Imperial Agent. So and J-Dub and I'm sorry, not J-Dub. Football dude in the chat said that it's that he did say on the website the bonus is going till this fall. So I'm gonna be able to do whole bunch of classes and burn out by then. So
I might have my level 40-something trooper and get her story done in that time.
Yeah, you should be able to.
I'll probably play a little bit and then see if it's something I want to throw a month at. Probably won't worry about it until after Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, if it's until fall, you got time.
Yeah.
So only for subscribers then?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, the 12x bonus.
Got it.
That's the trick. That's where they get you.
That's how they get you. And I did some space fighting yesterday. I forgot, even though it's arcadey, how much I like that. I think that's pretty fun.
I like the space fighting in that. Everyone else hated it. It seemed like, but
I did it a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, so I haven't tried any of the actual space dog fighting, so I want to do that too.
I did go back and check that out briefly. I didn't think it was that bad.
No, it's space dog fighting, right? Like team based.
It's right. It's not super twitchy.
Okay. Yeah, I want to check that out. So.
Yeah. All right.
Well, all right.
Does anybody want to talk about?
Pauses. That's cool.
We can cut those. Does anybody have any other games we want to talk about before we move on to other?
Jason has one game he wants to talk about, but
hit it.
I don't know if anyone's interested, but I've been messing with the iPhone version of Hearthstone just to see how it worked. And if it's free, obviously. I'm sure if people like Hearthstone, they know it. But it works really well on the iPhone. I was pleasantly surprised of how well they adapted the UI. It's definitely different, the way that you hold cards and look at them and pull them up. But it is totally functional. One thing I really wish they would do with that game, and I understand why they don't do this in like random play matches, but if the iPhone version or something, if you were playing a private game against a friend, I really wish they would incorporate like the push asynchronous play like Carcassonne or something, to where you play your move and then it lets me know and I take my turn whenever I have time.
Yes, I would play that so much more then.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see why they couldn't put that in.
No, they totally could, but I understand why they don't in regular matches because it's
right. But I mean,
time-based
like you
thing,
said,
but
between friends, though, you could do that if it didn't count for any badges or anything.
Yeah, or you can still level because you can level against AI, but I think that would make it a lot more. I know, like my circle of friends, or even Shannon would probably play it more because right now, if we want to play, we have to be playing at the same time, which most likely means we're sitting in the same room.
Which means we're probably playing something else.
Yeah, so. But it works totally well. If anyone's interested in checking it out, I'm gonna keep pecking away at it and doing I'm going through the first expansion they did right now.
The Naxxramas thing.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through. I'm through a couple of the wings, and that stuff's really cool. They introduce different mechanics. I mean, it's all old news now, but it's not just like fighting a standard class that's in the game now. There's a lot of weird stuff they throw at you.
All right. Weird stuff in Hearthstone iPhone. Check it out.
Yep. They should put that on the box.
Weird
they
stuff.
Sell at stores.
Yeah. I don't think they do. Yeah, we can move on.
How's D&D going, guys?
Stopping a podcast dead.
I have photos I took of the last one. Where did I put that? Oh, there it is. There's yeah, it was fun. We went back to our regular campaign, so I don't know. We always seem to run out of characters, like the little miniatures. So we always end up throwing this I have this little duck character, and we always have this stupid duck wandering around the battle map all the time, and this one, of course, the duck ends up being this annoying NPC that we have to interact with all the time. So for half the afternoon it was this duck, but anyway, it was
Quackers.
Yeah,
oops, I went the wrong way on the photos there.
I got the itch to DM again.
Yeah, I think that would be allowed
after playing, and I've started to have some ideas, and so I think I'm going to talk to the DM about doing another offshoot one.
Think, Michigan Steve wants to do one before anyone else does another one.
I'll talk to him too. But then I think I'm getting to the point psychologically where I'm ready to whenever this DM wants to wrap up his story, I'll be good to go and take over a. He
might be ready to do that tomorrow if I tell him that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd like to take over more consistently DMing, and then he can be a player in it. But yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah,
Jason.
I'm surprised. Yeah,
we got to do a keep defense at this one, so it was kind of cool. And we did not kill the village. This is a first for us. In this campaign that we've started, we actually did not slaughter an entire village. We saved them, and yay us for not just.
We're on our way up.
We have a bad reputation in this game. We're all lawful good, and we're just awful. We're the worst adventuring company ever.
But best intentions, right?
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
We're not good at it. What if we did this? Well, yeah, babysitting the fire wasn't a good idea.
I banged some prostitute and got out of there without paying. It was pretty sweet.
Oh, you did? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And you had to roll for STDs, and you were out. What was it? You had to use your reflexes to dodge the STDs.
That doesn't sound like lawful good.
I did. I'm not lawful good.
Oh, you're not. That's right. I'm neutral good, but there's Michigan Steve's lawful good. But anyway, that was. I guess the only update I have, right? We didn't do anything. We have to catch back up because our leader wasn't actually at the game session because she's working on her costume for Motor City Comic Con, and she's stressed about getting it finished in time.
The Groot costume?
She's doing Groot. She's got stilts and everything.
It was looking good the last time I saw, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I've been checking on Facebook every once in a while for the updates. We'll get pictures, I'm sure.
She got the hands working. She used a 3D printer and printed it off like a modification of a child's, what do you call it? Not prosthetic, but, hand mechanic, and has that working. It looks pretty cool.
Awesome.
Anyway, what else? That was our big board game thing there. Does anyone got any TV to talk about?
I don't.
All right.
Just watching hockey.
We could talk about, you brought it up, Age of Ultron.
Okay. I thought you meant hockey. Whew.
No, I'm not
Let's not talk about hockey.
I'm not talking about hockey. I like hockey, but I don't want to talk about hockey.
Yes, Age of Ultron.
So we saw it.
Did you see it, Glenn?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, it's okay because
go ahead. Talk about it all you want.
It's too soon to give spoilers anyway, but can we just say whether you liked it or not, Steve?
Are you asking or telling me?
Yeah. No, say.
I loved it.
I thought it was really good too. So cool. All right. Jason's being oddly quiet.
So we saw it twice, and the first time I was reserved in liking it, and then
you were also in massive amounts of pain.
That was the day, like it was later on, the ER visit day. So I had morphine that morning and kind of was crashing. But I remember liking it, and then we went and saw it because our son was out of town and saw it with him on Sunday, and I liked it more then, felt pretty confident in liking it. There's still a couple little issues I have with it, and I don't think it was as good as the first one.
You don't?
No, I don't.
I think it's busier.
There was a lot going on, and a lot of setup for what's to come in a couple of the other movies, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And at this point, all the movies are going to have some sort of setup for stuff going on because it's a continuation. And there's a couple things that I had issues with, and if we were to do spoiler talk, I can get into them. But then the more I thought about it, they made sense. But yeah, there was a lot going on. And supposedly the original cut that Joss Whedon did was 3 hours long, and I could see that movie being 3 hours long.
Yeah. There was we left, and then thinking about it the next couple of days, there was very, 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 very few things about it that I didn't like. There was a couple things that I was kind of questioning, and a couple things that my buddy brought up right after we left, and I didn't even think about. But when he brought it up, it was questionable. I don't know why they didn't do this or why they did do this, given stuff that happened in previous movies. But overall, it was a fun ride. I thought it was pretty much on par with the first one, because if I go back and watch the first one now, and I think about what I saw in Age of Ultron, they were both just fun, very, very fun comic movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And the way they showed their powers, and a lot of the things just looked taken out of a comic book panel. I loved all that stuff, and there was little things that watching it the second time that I really liked the attention to detail and all the banter stuff, which not surprising with Joss Whedon.
Yeah. Really happy that Hawkeye and Black Widow got a little bit more attention.
Hawkeye's stuff was great.
Yes, it was.
It's so hard not to say things. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, be careful.
But go see it. If you like the first one, you'll definitely like the second one.
Definitely, if anyone's aware of the whole, I don't know, Joss Whedon quit Twitter this weekend. There was a lot of assumptions about, why he quit, but he said he ended up coming out and saying that he just quit because he's kind of shutting down as a writer. He wants to kind of keep, what is it? Distractions at bay, pretty much.
Because he's
out of
now
the loop. I didn't even hear this.
Oh yeah. Well, there was anytime you
are successful with something,
there's going to be people who disagree with the choices you make on things, and so he had some trolls. Yeah.
What did he mean? He quit.
He quit Twitter. He
deleted his Twitter account.
I thought you meant the directing thing.
Oh no, he quit Twitter. That's all.
I was like, okay, wow.
And but he came out and said people assumed it was from the trolls, and he's like, no. He's like, if the trolls were going to bother me, they would have bothered me a long time ago. This is not my first time, doing this. So didn't chase him away or anything like that.
He is out of he's done with Marvel stuff though.
Does he have
at least for
no
now.
other ties with future movies?
Nope. So the next Avengers is going to be done by the guys who directed Winter Soldier, which Winter Soldier is an amazing movie, not just a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Because they're doing Civil War, which have you seen some of the cast? They were announcing more people today.
Yeah.
It's basically another Avengers movie.
Martin Freeman,
I believe. God, who is William
Mark
Hurt?
Freeman as who?
They haven't said yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what everybody's wondering is like, who the hell is this guy?
But I believe I heard a coworker said, because so much stuff was kind of going on today, that William Hurt is coming back, and he was, General Ross in Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton one.
Yeah.
Black Panther, Hawkeye, and Black Widow, and Ant-Man, they announced today, is going to be in it.
No shit.
Yeah, Falcon.
I was actually kind of curious as to if they were going to tie Ant-Man into any of the other movies.
Oh, yeah, so I would imagine it'd be in the Avengers too, since he was one of the big early Avengers, and he was the one who kind of created Ultron.
Need to get Daredevil in there.
That's my other thought. Is Daredevil going to be in there too? Because he had a pretty decent role in Civil War, and Spider-Man's going to be in it. So they're going to have to announce Spider-Man at any time now. Whoever's playing.
Jesus, movie's going to be it's got to be 5 hours long.
Yeah, Civil War is one I don't know how you do that in one movie, and how you don't block it up into two. But the guy, those brothers directing that, and the next two Avengers movies, the two-parter. It's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
What's the current count of Marvel movies? Is it maybe 10 at this point?
They just did a marathon right before, at certain theaters, and I want to say it was, it's probably around there. It was 27 hours total. I'm not sure yet.
9 in my head right now.
Yeah, I mean,
if you count the Hulks.
Well, you count one.
Incredible Hulk counts as part of the continuum.
Yeah, so that's
supposed
10.
to be canon. Yeah.
So you got Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Avengers, Hulk.
Guardians.
Okay, Guardians is 11.
Yeah.
So yeah, at least 11 that I can think in my head.
The only reason I ask is I've only seen one of them right now, so that's a pretty daunting.
That's hard to get in. Yeah, get into it.
It really is, especially since they're all so closely tied together.
Which one did you see?
Thor, the first one.
Okay,
that's a good one.
I was waiting for you to say some rating like Iron Man 2. I don't get it.
Where do you
It was
even
not
get
the best one, so.
Yeah, but it's everyone. Ant-Man, I'm a little bit more hopeful now. I was kind of down and out, but that last trailer, I want them to go all in on the size stuff. Kind of just everyone's waiting for. I know our friends are just kind of okay. What's their first miss gonna be? And I know some people don't like certain movies, but they've all been pretty well received overall. Mm-hmm. Except Iron Man 2, which Iron Man 2 I get gets too much crap. Iron
Man 2 is probably the weakest one, but it still has great segments.
I just rewatched it, a couple months ago, and
it's definitely worth watching.
No, I think Green Lantern was the weakest.
Yeah, you're right. Green Lantern, or the
Catwoman,
Punisher.
Punisher, which one?
Warzone.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren wasn't in Punisher. Oh God, he was
Punisher.
Wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
He's the most underrated actor of all time.
Is he?
Yeah, well, with the spiky hair and the muscles and his ice cold demeanor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Going off.
I like the first Punisher movie.
On an Always Sunny in Philadelphia tangent. There's a line where they're brainstorming about writing a movie, and the one guy and Max is Charlie. Question: who is the most underrated actor of all time? And without even missing a beat, Charlie goes, "It's Dolph Lundgren." And Max goes, "Correct."
Well, have we watched any other movies?
I watched a really bad movie.
What'd you watch?
It's called 3 the Hard Way.
Doesn't it have Jim Kelly in it?
It does have Jim Kelly in it.
I think it has Jim Kelly in it.
Yeah, it's from 1974. It's a super team of Jim Kelly, Fred Williamson, the guy who played Shaft, and Jim Brown. And it's...
How can that go wrong?
They probably could have allocated more funds to script writing than just blowing the shit out of everything. If you like movies where they just blow the shit out of everything for no reason.
does. Because let's not forget, he liked Transformers 2.
Fuck you.
Were you waiting for that?
I was so mad. So mad about that.
I actually was talking about that at work the other day.
Were you recommending it to people?
No, I was not. Never again. Wasn't that bad. 3 was fucking shit.
So I don't know what's a better movie, that or 3 the Hard Way.
I haven't seen Transformers 2, so I can't look at that.
Don't bother. Yeah.
No, it's one nostalgia trip. Well, them and G.I. Joe, which I haven't tried to revisit. It's just I'm going to leave that part of my childhood in the past, and
I'm sure the G.I. Joe movie holds up fine.
Which one?
The original animated one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been interested in watching that again.
I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be great.
Yeah, I saw that about 10 years ago. It wasn't bad. Is that the one you... Yeah, that's the one.
I watched some of the G.I. Joe not too long ago. It holds up.
That's good.
I'm not joking. I think it does.
I'm not either.
Let's go watch it then.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going with this conversation, though.
They took it off Netflix. I was bummed.
Did you guys go out for Free Comic Book Day? That was last Saturday.
No, I didn't. And there's a guy at work that's big into comics, and he wore his Free Comic Book Day T-shirt that he wears, and it was reminded of that. But then I could not make it over to the comic book store that
free,
weekend.
Man.
I know.
Free.
I know.
All right.
Yep, I went.
Yay!
What'd you get?
I went. I got an episode of The Tick. Sorry, not an episode, an issue.
Spoon.
That's the one. It says it right across the front.
Does it?
Yep.
Awesome.
And because Tick's saying spoon and Arthur's saying not the face. What else they got? There's a really good kind of an indie American comic called Hip Hop Family Tree, which is some guy's taken upon himself to kind of chronicle the origins of hip hop from the late 70s all the way through, and he's doing it in a kind of like a 1980s comic book style.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because he frames it in the way that early hip hop acts were kind of a lot like superhero comics. Cause that's another thing he was really into when he was a kid, because they're like regular people during the day, and at night they have alter egos and they wear crazy costumes and they form super groups and they have epic rap battles against each other. But I'm really not into the old hip hop stuff, so I don't know many of the characters. But it's written well and it's drawn in a fun way. So I'd recommend that one if you can find it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Another comic it wasn't free the other day, but I want to recommend, because I'd recommend it to anybody. It's called The Sixth Gun, if you haven't heard about it.
I've not.
Nope. It's kind of a supernatural Old West story. And it's about 6 supernatural kind of enchanted pistols, like 6 shooters, and each one has a different property to it, which it kind of gives its bearer. And it's a story of if all 6 of them come together, there's a chance that whoever owns all 6 can reshape the world in kind of whichever they want, but they have to destroy the world first. So it's a story about these people trying to find the guns, and it's pretty good. It's written very well. The art is great.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I got nothing to add. I'm sorry.
I do actually. Jason, did you mention? I saw you mention on Twitter maybe that you have Marvel Unlimited.
Yes, I do.
You liking it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I really do. I think it's totally worth it.
Really been debating it.
It's what I really like about it is it has a ton of stuff, and it does a really good job of sorting. Like, gives you options to find what you're looking for. So it has like a listing of important storylines or famous storylines. So if you were to say, hey, I want to read the Age of Ultron original run, you could just go look under there and it will tell you all the titles that were part of it and what, issue numbers. And so you can search by just hero, you can search by that, and it gives you options to read like up to 12 issues offline, so you can just mark them as read offline. It will download to your device, so you don't have to be around any Wi-Fi to read those. And then as soon as you get done reading it, you can uncheck it and free up a spot to download another one to read offline. It's like $10 a month. I think they were doing a free month. I don't know if that deal's over.
How far back do they go?
You can try.
They go far back, like some of the original runs.
You can try 1 month free still.
Yep, and they add stuff newer. It's typically like 4 months after. So I'm up to date on like Guardians and a couple other ones, and I have it on my watch list that when they add the issue that I am, that I need to read, they kind of let you know. They send you an email update as well. So I've kind of done that instead of buying any. Like I even deleted the Comixology app from my iPad because I was buying stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
Totally worth it to me.
Yeah, and Slane in the chat, I half agree. I want paper comics as well. I love having paper comics. I would prefer that, but
they're fun while you're reading them. But then what do you do with them? Like you have those boxes and boxes. And no, you don't. You throw them away.
No, I don't. I have boxes of comics.
I have boxes too, but I don't know. I got over that.
He got over it really quick when our basement flooded, and yeah. So it was like, well, there they go.
I guess that's my thing is that given the price difference, the comics what now $3-4?
Yeah.
So that versus $10 a month to just read all the comics you want.
Yep. And I found that I've been rereading. I've been rereading stuff much more, I think, frequently than I would if I had to go dig it out.
I know for a fact that's true because you never went down and dug out your comics ever.
Okay.
You didn't. It was like super rare.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot of effort for just we're sitting on the iPad. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go back and reread this run.
And when you read my want. Oh, go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say part of my want to try the Marvel Unlimited service is my kids because I know that they have some interest in comics, but I'm not going to go out and throw down $20-$30 a month on comics for them to read. So this would be an alternative. At least hey, they can try it out and see if they get into reading it.
He was telling me because he was trying to find some that his one daughter would like, and he was able to find some older, kind of more obscure stuff, but stuff that she really kind of gravitated towards.
Nice.
I was just going to ask if when you read them on your iPad, do you read them as the whole page, or do you do kind of?
I switch it up depending on the art style, and it's really easy to say you want to do the guided view where you just tap and it goes to the next panel. But a lot of times I'll switch to the page view just to kind of get an overall look, and it does that too. Where if there's a lot of action going on one page, like when you guide through the panels and then you get to the end of the page, it will zoom out to show you all of it.
Okay.
You move on. So it works pretty well.
All right.
Cool. We want to talk any about Star Wars before we hang it up?
I actually have no Star Wars for this segment. It was May the 4th on May the 4th. So that was cool.
Was it?
It was.
Sounds like purred happily. No, it is I'm telling you, May the 4th was on May the 4th.
It was. And so I wore a t-shirt to work. That's what I celebrated with. And I tweeted about it. And so did everyone else and their mother. And it was awesome, right? People put up some cool little artworks and jokes and stuff. And it was a nice, fun little Star Wars day. Now, if you hate Star Wars, you probably wanted to stay away from Twitter that day.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, I heard some people bitching, like, is this commercialization and stuff, Star Wars is getting too saturated. I'm like, where have you been the last 20 fucking years?
Yeah, as soon as Hallmark got their hands on it.
It takes
trying to sell cards.
From the sanctity and the pureness of Star Wars.
I did get an e-card, a Hallmark card from for Star Wars Day.
Yeah?
It's just corporate now. It didn't used to be.
I liked it. It was.
Oh shit! I was joking.
Oh, I did. I got an e-card.
I had grand plans of watching the first movies again because I have the old VHS copies, but it meant digging out the VCR and trying to find all the cables and
the tracking and all.
Yeah, see if it actually hooks up to the new TVs. I didn't.
Kids these days don't have to deal with tracking.
So much work.
Remember rewind machines?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Get charged if you don't do that.
Yep.
Because you actually would rent videos from a video store. Go through those big aisles. Pick out all the movies you want.
Yep.
But anyway. It was a thing. It was like a thing you did every week.
God, we're old.
Yeah. That's how we got our movies.
Movies on tape.
Kids, yeah. We had comics in paper that get ruined in basement floods, and we had VCRs and rewind machines, and what else did we talk about? We had old
Rotary
retro video
phones.
games, yeah.
We would copy VHS tapes to another VHS tape, and then you'd be pissed when some of them had the copyright protection where it got really dark, then bright, then really dark, then bright.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, that was certain.
I never
kind of
did
later
that,
VHS. They would start putting stuff on there to where just to kind of.
But you're not supposed to.
When they started getting desperate, when the VHS empire started to crumble.
Yeah. And they kind of tried to thwart you from doing it. Corporate fat cats.
Yeah, you showed them.
We did.
You have to.
I don't know.
Get up and put another tape in to get to the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
Like The Godfather.
I want to cry now.
Oh my god, I used to actually record movies off of TV and then like hit pause to cut out the commercials.
Yep.
Did anyone ever do that? Okay.
Yeah,
Because I totally
did that frequently. I had a religious thing going on every weekend for Mystery Science Theater. I would record them and then play them back and then re-record them and cut out commercials every fucking weekend, man.
Did you ever hold a tape recorder up to a TV to record a song that you really liked that had a video? Yeah.
I think I did a couple times. Not for the song, but I think I recorded like just stupid shit that was being said so that I could play it back to friends.
I never did that, but I did have the dual deck radio, so I could I would record, like whenever they did the top 20 list for the week, and I would just record the whole thing, and then I would edit it out and make my really cool mixtape for the week, and I could cut out the DJ and stuff. Yeah, so that way I didn't have it wasn't choppy. It was all nice. Well, as nice as you could get doing it off the radio, but yeah, I had nice mixtapes. Took forever. Can you imagine how much time I spent doing that? My God.
Think of all the other things you could have been doing.
Could have just been making playlists on Spotify and just taking off and doing
stuff.
Reading
paper comics,
yeah. Hanging out and what was it? I forgot already. The
Dirt Mall?
No. Hanging out in Tunnels of Doom. Could have been doing that.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm. Well, all right. I think that is it. I can't speak. Blah! I think that's it for the evening.
Coming in for a smooth landing.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Well, we're all old now that we've covered that.
Can't drink.
We've got to
change my catheter.
Yeah. We need to rename this podcast the Old Geriatrics Podcast. Geriatric Gamers. There you go.
GG.
Yeah.
So we're going to cut all this out.
You can't say GG.
Why can't you say GG?
Isn't that the Gamergate tag?
No, it's good game.
No, it's good game.
Oh, okay. I think it means something else now.
No, it's good game.
Oh, okay.
They can't take that from us.
They can't take that away from us, yeah.
Bitches.
Wild guy.
I'll fight to the death your right to say it.
GG.
Well, gentlemen, no point in hanging around this dump any longer.
Wait! Where are you going? I was going to make espresso.
Show's over, folks.
You can't go. All the plants are going to die. Take off, eh?
Thanks for listening to Multiplaying, the companion podcast at multiplaying.net. Questions, comments, feedback, errors, etc. can be sent to multiplaying@gmail.com. We invite you to write a review on iTunes and visit our website at www.multiplaying.net.
We've made a lot of friends, shared a lot of laughs, often at the expense of others.
I think some people are going to be upset.
Let me just close this conversation by saying you are one unique individual.
Thank you and good night.